What up, what up? It's the homie Mac, music art, culture, knowledge, reporting live from the Dogon. I'm not going to be talking too much today. I got two scholarly gentlemen in my vicinity right now. Introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Lamin. I've been on here now, four times?
Yeah.
So it's not much to say. You know, you see me around, basically.
I'm G. I do the F Your Mother podcast. I've been doing this for like the last 2 years. And I cover everything. I cover pop culture, hip-hop culture, street culture, gender wars, sex, dating, your shitty job, and politics.
For sure. Just to give everybody a little background of what's going on here, we're going to be talking about the topic at hand is going to be COVID. Is it real? Is it fake? Is it man-made, etc.? Is there much legitimacy to Western science, Western medicine, as opposed to holistic medicine? And I'm going to let everybody go right now, starting with you, G. How do you feel about COVID?
So is it real? I think it's real and it's fake. I think it's real. I think the origination of it really did originate in Wuhan, China. I think the American government found an opportunity to use something that happened in another area of the world and basically use it as an excuse for freeing up more money in Congress. Like, I don't want to say scapegoating, but it's along the lines of, like, I'll give you an example. Tupac was shot. Everybody think it was gang members, right? But if the feds was actually telling them and had them under surveillance and they wanted to assassinate him but not make it look like they did it, they would just wait for an opening. So just tell him until he was prone to violence, confrontation, blase skippy, right? So just wait for his, like, the propensity of that shit to happen, and then as soon as he got into a fight or altercation with somebody, kill him, make it look like the dudes he. So it's like the same thing with the Wuhan, the Chinese virus, right? Like, wait, it started there. It started there. I ain't Trump.
Very Trumpish, I would say.
But when Ebola came out, they had no problem calling the shit Ebola, which is Ebola River somewhere in Africa. So if you can call it an African river like virus, then they gotta take it on the chin, and this is a Chinese virus because it happened in China. Like, we can't be the only people that when some shit happen, like violence, like on black, right? They label what we do, but you never hear white on white. So they gotta take that in stride. Yes, the Chinese virus.
So politically correct. You got any more? Is that it? Still got a minute.
Yeah, so I think it's been used politically to free up money from Congress. Trump nationalized the Federal Reserve. How else can you actually, like, bring the money to a zero interest without actually having a surplus of extra money, causing it to inflate, causing the valuation of the dollar to go down, but to slow down the economy or stop it to a grinding halt, where people are only buying essential goods, right? You're not gonna have the Louis sales or the Bugatti sales imported or Chrysler exported out of Detroit. You ain't gonna have people buying a bunch of diamonds, gold, like, especially during, you gotta look at the time frame when it happened, January to April. So till the outbreak, right? So those times, what months are holidays? You don't have sales, you don't have holidays, you don't have surplus spending, so you can literally halt stuff. And then when is shit supposed to get back to normal, right? Into October, then November, December, Christmas, Thanksgiving. See what I'm saying? Black Friday. Like, people ain't seeing the strategy, but you want to actually, if he nationalized the Federal Reserve, you want to actually, like, slow down the economy so that people aren't surplus spending. Hence why they, like, stopped production on coins. They didn't have a shortage. They just stopped making shit. It cost 28 cents to make a quarter, 7 cents to make a nickel, 12 cents to make a dime, 7 cents to make 8 cents to make a penny. What's the point? So I think it was politically.
Okay. All right, go ahead, man.
Okay, I think COVID-19 is a real virus. I think that first and foremost, COVID-19 is a string of the Nobel virus. It is not the first one that has actually happened. It's
we don't know what the hell that is.
It's an offshoot of if you remember a few years ago, maybe 2004, SARS. When SARS first came out, it is a family of that type of virus. When MERS came out, it's a family of that type of virus. and this is just the latest iteration of this virus in its own evolution. I do think that the Chinese government has mishandled how the outbreak first came about. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened because I was not there, but from the information that I've gathered, there was some scientist who was dealing with the virus who did not follow certain safety protocols, and more than likely now infected the entire world from his lack of safety protocols. As soon as this thing happened, the virus came out. There were many people around the world who are in charge of looking at infectious diseases. They saw this virus and they began to act on how to, contain the virus. But for some type of way, there has been a political nature of this particular virus, which has caused a virus that could have been contained to become a pandemic. And all the pandemic means is that it has jumped from country to country and now is a worldwide phenomenon. I believe that basically to understand this virus, to understand the SARS virus or whatnot, has required a global effort to understand the structure of the virus, to understand how it affects the human body, and to understand how to destroy the virus so that we can, go back to so-called norms. I'm particularly in awe in how we have, when I say we in the science community, have opened up the research to everybody who is looking at this virus so that they can figure out what's going on at a record time. As well, I also do stocks in the meantime, so I've been looking at pharmaceutical stocks. And it's an interesting thing when it comes to stocks and talking about the economy and how money moves, because there seems to be some type of idea that there's one player or two big players in the pharmaceutical companies, when in reality there's hundreds. And each are trying to vie for themselves to be the person to cure this virus or to get the therapies for these viruses. And there's going to be a lot of companies going to go under and has gone under in pursuit of this virus. Therefore, it is a dog-eat-dog world right now inside the pharmaceutical companies. To make the claim of basically that it's an economical prop to make sure we can grind to a halt, I think has some merit to it. But also I think it fails in understanding how viruses spread and how much an anarchy can happen that is not that people were not prepared or understood the complex nature of, that actually has got to where we're at now, to where nobody basically could have expected that America, one of the largest, if not, I believe it's the largest, not the second largest economy, to grind to a halt.
Tom.
Oh, okay.
Okay, G, it's on you. I got a question. What is it exactly about the virus that you think is fake?
Okay, so my man was actually just explaining viruses, right? So a lot of people don't really pay close attention to biology 101 from high school, right? Not saying him per se, but
Right.
the average person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, it's a loaded question, and it's a yes and no. I think it's a virus. Transmission of viruses aren't that easy. People are making it seem like it's some shit like Resident Evil with raccoon viruses. It's not. You can't even pass the influenza virus to another person that easy, and that's a human-to-human virus, let alone a bat/snake/mammal virus. I think it comes from a bat, but the bat actually interchanges with a certain kind of serpent in over in Asia. The snake actually eats the bat actually eats the snake. That's how they believe that two viruses actually came together making the SARS, right?
So
The
cross-contamination.
SARS ones.
Okay.
So I think it's an actual virus, but I think that the transmission is being exacerbated from person to person, because if you go online in any biology book, viruses are transmitted through close intimate contact, ingestion, hence the flu shot, ingestion, food like salmonella, trichinosis is a virus from the pig, which is a parasitical virus. HPV women get, right, from having sex with somebody, a man that has herpes, the herpes simplex A, B, and C, HIV, hepatitis C, A, and B. Like, you have to transmit it. Like, people contract viruses, they don't catch them. This isn't a cold, this isn't a bacterial disease that lingers in the air. Like, a bacteria is an actual living organism. Viruses are not. So there's a difference. They're not the same. Transmission isn't the same, and it's not that you could get a cold from somebody very easily. Sneeze on the surface, I touch it, and I don't wash my hands, eat some food. Because it's a, like, transmittable thing where bacteria actually multiply outside of host. Viruses actually need a host, right? So if I have a virus and I sneeze on the surface, it'll be live for roughly, they say online 3 hours, it's more like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Tops. So.
Okay, LeMan, I guess, how do you feel about that? That it
Well, I mean, I think what he said is actually has some merit to it. Again, once again, the transmission. To go a little bit deeper with transmission, they use a biological mathematical process called the logistics equation, and what it does is it begins to talk about R naught. R naught is the how transferable is a virus. There's different viruses that are quickly transferred, and there's viruses that are less transferred. As he mentioned, the influenza virus has an R naught of about 1.3, while the COVID virus has about a 2.0. Those numbers don't seem too far off, but they're exponentially much further. This means that transmission of this virus is not twice, but like I said, an exponential rate. For example, let's talk about the current president of the United States. He has infected 34 people around him. They are saying he's a super spreader.
Allegedly.
He allegedly, well, they got it. so
We don't know though. The media says it. When people say, they say, who's they? The media. Who's the media?
So
media commentators.
The media commentators that then go in and look at the doctors who actually have to diagnose people, because the media isn't diagnosing people. The actual tests are diagnosing people. So we know that the spread of viruses is related to this R naught factor. And let's give another example with transmission and how deadly viruses are. Ebola has a 4 R naught. Or, you know what, I'm not going to give a number because I'm not absolutely sure. But one thing about infectious diseases, the more infectious the disease is, meaning how quickly you can die from it, your mortality of it, also affects your R naught. When it deals with, say, Ebola, you die quick, meaning you can't infect other people because it's transmitted through fluids. You're dead, you can't transmit it. When it comes to COVID, it can be transmitted in many ways, through the air, through particulates on the surfaces, and things like that. That's why we actually have masks, because when we talk, we actually move the air around us, and things can be transmitted that way. I think, once again, it is a family of viruses, meaning they understand how this virus, they have an understanding of how this virus evolves, mutates, and is transmitted. MERS, for example, is used that one, which is, by the way, the M stands for Middle East, and SARS stands for, it was in China.
South Asia, right?
South Asia, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's how they signify where the disease began at. And these viruses had such big and large symptoms that you can tell that that this person had a disease, unlike this particular version that takes up to 14 days before you can even know that you had the disease, and you're contagious the entire way. Because that's what we're talking about, is contagious. Is how quickly can a virus move from place to place. So yes, I think, like I said, understanding certain parts about viruses and bacteria is very helpful. I think undermining the contagious factor of this virus actually has caused 200,000 deaths.
But wait a minute, my brother. If I take my Irish sea moss, I take my black seed oil, I'm gonna be straight. Right?
No.
Why you say that? That's why you say that?
So, since we're talking about Biology 101, before we talk about what are the therapeutics to cure viruses or kill viruses, we need to understand the structure of the virus, and we need to understand the structure of the therapeutic that we are speaking of. I'm not quite sure exactly what in sea moss we're expecting to kill a virus. I'm not exactly sure what in the black seed oil is going to kill the virus. Because at the end of the day, we know from the studies that the SARS virus or the COVID virus usually has no issue with the immune system. The immune system can kill the virus. The problem is the immune system goes into overdrive. And when it goes into overdrive, it basically destroys cells that don't have the virus, and then it allows the body, such as the lungs, to actually get bacterial infection, which we call pneumonia, and you die from the actually complications of the virus, not necessarily the virus. There are people out there who would say, yes, of course, COVID is not killing people. It's pneumonia, it's heart attacks, and stomach. Yes, exactly. If we use the same type of idea, then HIV kills nobody. And AIDS kills nobody because it's the complications that kills you. It's your body's cannot fight other diseases at the same time that kills you. So that's what makes the disease very, very,
Okay, question. All right, if that's the case, HIV, even before the last 10 years, had a mortality rate of anybody that contracted it of 25 years.
Okay.
So if I was 25 years old, contracted HIV, 25 years later, probably in early 50s, I would die.
Okay.
So that's a human like virus.
Right.
How does that take a course of 2.5 decades to kill you?
Okay, because once again,
Without retro treatments or antiretroviral treatments,
Gotcha.
without any type of cocktails, without anything, just living.
Mhm.
People that just died 25 years later.
Right.
So I'm having it. Do you expect me to believe that I'm going to die from an infection from a virus that originated from a bat?
yes, I do. So when it comes to HIV, since we jumped into HIV, HIV attacks the T cells. T cells are the cells that actually are the frontline fighters of your immune system. It's a slow process because you said without the antivirals, the T cells then will be overwhelmed. The system will be overwhelmed by these infected T cells. When you do get your antivirals, it actually slows that process down. That's why we can have 25 years to live with this virus, is because we're slowing down the T cells.
Oh, but don't SARS-2, COVID-19 actually affect the antibodies?
No. So as far as we know, COVID, once again, I just explained that your immune system usually has no issue with fighting COVID. That's not the problem. The problem is that it fights everything around it also. It goes into overdrive. So let's use the president, for example. He's using a treatment that is an immunodepressant, meaning a suppressant, meaning it has to suppress the immune system. Your immune system is in overdrive. That what we're saying is that basically your own body is killing you. And in fact, when it comes to fevers and things like that, your fever is what kills you. It's not going